Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? A little news here from Ian Rappaport as the Saints are moving through training camp. Rappaport tweeted just a bit ago, reunion. Former Saints linebacker Kiko Alonzo worked out for the Saints this morning and is expected to sign. He hasn't played since 2019, but is in shape, and the Saints will take a shot given his familiarity. A quick reminder about Kiko Alonzo. LSU fans kind of got acquainted with Kiko Alonzo because he was at Oregon way back in 2011 when LSU opened up the season against Oregon, and he was a guy that had gotten in a bunch of off-the-field trouble when he was there at Oregon. Ultimately was picked in the second round of the 2013 draft. He was the defensive rookie of the year with Buffalo in 2013 and then had an injury, missed his entire second year. They moved him to Philly, and then he spent 3 seasons in Miami. And then in 2019, signed with the Saints and was a pretty good player. Played in 13 games for New Orleans in a backup role, made 31 tackles that season, started 4 times. So familiarity with Dennis Allen, with the roster. Obviously in 2019, DeMario Davis was here. And then in 2020, the Saints traded Kiko Alonzo. He was injured. So he played in 2019. And then in 2020, he was on the PUP list and didn't come off the PUP list. And the Saints traded Kiko Alonzo and I believe a 5th-round pick to San Francisco for Quan Alexander. Now, San Francisco never activated Kiko Alonzo. They ultimately cut him, and then he was out of football last year. So he hasn't played in a game since 2019. So it's been a while since Kiko Alonzo has been in a competitive situation. This feels like a move for depth because of Pete Werner's injury right now that slowed him in camp. Quan Alexander obviously signed with the Jets, so that's no longer an option. Maybe this is a guy who's got a chance to make the team and provide some depth for you, but that feels like a long shot at this point when you're talking about a guy who hasn't played really in almost 2 full years, and he's 31 years old right now. So it is a guy who, when he was healthy and right, he was a very good player, both at the college and in the pro level. The problem has been both in college and in the NFL for Kiko Alonzo staying healthy, which is why he has not been, up until this point, assigned to a roster. But familiarity with the Saints, familiarity with Dennis Allen, the defense, the roster, the players, the culture, all that stuff makes some sense here. So Kiko Alonzo worked out for the Saints. He's expected to sign per Ian Rappaport and see if he can make this team. There was another bit of roster news this week when the Saints added Chris Herndon, and they waived tight end Brandon Dillon. So if you remember, the Saints signed Dillon in June. He's played in just 5 career games, had 1 catch for 6 yards. And tight end has been a position we've talked a lot about. And I get it. Everyone mentions Taysom Hill. And I continue to remind you that every time we hear anybody talk about Taysom Hill, if it's Dennis Allen or Mickey Loomis and what his role is going to be, you may call him a tight end. You may list him on the roster as a tight end. He ain't a tight end. They basically describe all of the things. You see if you can find that, please. That cut from Dennis Allen. It was last week when he was talking about, before camp, the role Taysom Hill is going to play. He just rattled off, line up at tight end. We'll catch some passes. He'll run the football. He's still going to play special teams. We'll probably line him up at quarterback. He basically described what Taysom Hill is. So you can't think of Taysom Hill only as a quarterback. Only as a tight end. When you look specifically at the tight ends, adding someone like Herndon actually makes a ton of sense, y'all. I am still hoping that Adam Troutman pops off in year 3. But Dillon, who you waived to sign Herndon, Dillon had played in 5 career games. Herndon is has legitimate potential here. Herndon went to Miami and was a 4th-round pick. As a rookie in 2018, He made the Pro Football Writers Association all-rookie team. In 2018, he had 39 catches for 502 yards and 4 scores. As a rookie fourth-round pick, to have 39 catches, y'all, that's a better season than Adam Troutman has had actually in his career. Like, Adam Troutman has 434 career receiving yards. Herndon had a better rookie season than Troutman's had 2 years combined. So he was really good as a rookie. And then in 2019, played in 4 games. I'm sorry. In 2019, he was suspended for 4 games, came back, got injured, missed the rest of the season. Then in 2020, he played, was back with the Jets, had a good season, 31 catches for 287 yards. Then he was traded to Minnesota for a 4th-round pick and played, just sparingly because Tyler Conklin emerged last year in Minnesota. And Conklin had an amazing season where he had nearly 60 catches. And Herndon just got caught up on the depth chart behind a player that's really good. So you have a guy that in the 2 seasons when he's been healthy and available, he's been a productive tight end. But he had a season where he missed the whole season due to suspension and injury, and then where he was just buried on the depth chart behind a really good tight end. So when I look at where the Saints' options at tight end right now, again, I'm not counting Taysom Hill. Troutman, listen to the games played for the tight ends. Troutman, 28. Vannett, 77. Herndon, 49. J.P. Holtz, 44. Juwan Johnson, 21. Then you got Lucas Kroll, who's the rookie. But you've got, if you include Troutman, Vannett, Herndon, Holtz, and Juwan Johnson, 5 guys battling for this tight end job. I don't know that you're looking at keeping 2, which includes Hill. I think it's Taysom Hill and 2 more, whomever that might be. And the odds-on favorites are probably Troutman and Vannett. But Troutman and Herndon could make sense, or Troutman, Vannett, and Herndon if you want the blocking tight end. You've got guys that have been productive players. And so, again, the best-case scenario for New Orleans is Adam Troutman in year 3 finally hits that springboard. Kind of similar to how we talked about Cesar Ruiz. And this may be something not just with the Saints rookies, but maybe NFL-wide worth watching this year if you're looking at sort of like an underlying story, did the COVID year rookie players, the rookies in 2020, who basically had their whole rookie seasons kind of wiped out because you had no training camp, you had no preseason, you guys were in and out of the building, COVID, it's just, you had these long rules with meetings in person, and it was almost like a wasted year of development, So in many cases, the players who were rookies in 2020 kind of had their first real taste of NFL life last year. So when we look at a guy like Ruiz, should he really be viewed on like a 3rd-year player or as a 2nd-year player? I'd say the same for Troutman. So I'm not saying definitively that's how it's going to go, but I am going to say it'll be interesting to watch those guys to see if maybe in their second full real NFL season, if they start to make that leap. So that's your best case. Troutman becomes a dude. But I love the option of having a guy like Herndon, who's been a really productive tight end in his career, as a backup option down the line. I'm telling you, it's going to be really hard for Juwan Johnson to make this roster. And Maddie Hudak was with us today, and during the camp report, she talked about how Juwan Johnson really popped today, and he's missed a bunch of camp because of injury. I'd be willing to bet that after the Saints signed Chris Herndon, Juwan Johnson realized his job is very much on the line. Nothing's a given, obviously, but if you're looking at a pass-catching tight end, man, you bring in a guy who actually has some skins on the wall in this league, nothing's a given for you. You need to get back out there. So, and then he goes and pops off on a day like this. So that tight end group is one that is one of the more interesting to see how they manage and when that final roster is set. Because we've talked a lot about how the Saints might look in free agency, might trade for a tight end. We talked about Kyle Rudolph at times this offseason, ultimately ended up signing with Tampa. But watching how they develop, how many they keep, and if Chris Herndon can sort of find a rebirth in New Orleans, is going to be pretty fascinating. So the Saints, they waive Brandon Dillon. They sign Chris Herndon, making moves and certainly improving their depth. Definitely an upgrade as far as a guy trying to make the roster from what they had with Brandon Dillon to Chris Herndon.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.